Hi, friends. Welcome. Hi. Yes, my name is Carrie, and I am the Associate Executive Director here at Free. This is a community for addicts, loved one of addicts, and spiritual refugees. Together, we break the silence of addiction. We create space for healing, recovery, and spiritual connection. There is always one thing that we do each and every single week here, as well as any single time that you walk through the doors here. If you are joining us online, please know we are so grateful that you're here. Welcome. Please drop your little chats and tell us where you're from. Tell us where you're joining from. We love to connect with you. And you too, wherever you are, online, here, those 4 words are something that really can change someone's day. So if you don't know what those 4 words are, you can cheat, and you can read them up on the screen in a second. But I ask you so kindly to say all 4 words with me on the count of 3, and so we can remember together what we never, ever do here at Free. So on the count of 3, 1, 2, 3, we don't do shame. That is correct, my friends. But we do lots of fun things here. So starting with our welcome bag. So if you are new with us for the first time, we would love to connect with you. Just outside of these doors after service, come find myself or a volunteer, and we can get you connected with a welcome bag. Inside the welcome bag, you'll find some fresh roasted wagon coffee by the astonishing Tammy Kennedy and her remarkable staff. I know, right? Tammy deserves a round of applause. And all her amazing women at Wagon Coffee. We are the luckiest place in the world because we get to share that space with her and all the magic that she brings. But come get a sample. You can also get some free swag. We have the little free bracelets in there, and also the Connect card. In the Connect card is your way to get connected to us. We would love to get you guys on our mailing list so you'll know every week what events we have coming up. You'll find out who the guest storyteller is, and then you'll find all the different events that we do throughout the month here. Such as we have an exciting one coming up this coming Friday. So Darren and his entire team at Colorado Artists in Recovery, he finds the most talented artists, and he fills this place with some remarkable artwork. It's down the hallway. It's all in the cafe. I mean, this place gets packed. It's a wonderful time to come. It's absolutely free to join. You just can show up. You can also register when you get here. The registering helps them with their grant funding because they're a nonprofit, so most of his funding is either donors or grants and funding, so they need to track all that stuff. So it is free to join this, even though it does say the tickets. But again, please come this Friday. It's from 5 until 8. If you need some extra parking, you can always park at Safeway. It's just a little bit west of here. I think it's like less than a block over. You're allowed to park there. So please come and join us. We also have an opportunity to get involved here at Free. We need some more volunteers in the cafe. So whether or not you were ever a barista, maybe you have no coffee experience, maybe you have a little coffee experience. If you're interested in all, we would love to connect you, teach you a new skill. You'll get to meet tons of new people. It's a great opportunity to be of service, make some friends, and just kind of hang out in the cafe and meet people. It's one of the greatest ways just to connect and build our community. All right, friends, that's the end of our announcements. I do want to say a special thank you to Ryan. I know you're probably wondering why I'm up here all by myself tonight. Ryan is currently at a wedding, so I do want to kick off. We always start our evenings with celebrations. So we get to lift up the good, we get to celebrate whatever win it is. Maybe it's a new job, maybe it's a belly button birthday, a sobriety birthday. I know somebody special in the house has a sobriety birthday that we're going to celebrate. But I also want to celebrate the reason Ryan isn't here is because Matt Naraki is marrying Renee tonight. So I don't know if you guys know Renee, so I just want to give them my first little celebration and congratulate them. Ryan will be back next week. But don't worry, we have a very special evening planned for you guys. But first, the celebration. So all you got to do is raise your hand. On this side, we have Cody, and on this side, we have Layla. We take 3 minutes here. Just raise up your hand, and please join us in your celebrations.
My name is Layla. I just wanted to celebrate 80 days clean and sober from all toxic things.
My name is Rich, and so it's been 4.5 years in the works, but I just finished my first book. It's called Gravity or Gold, Protecting Our Children, Empowering Their Parents, and it's a work handbook to help parents navigate child protective services and get reunification.
Can you repeat that name one more time? I just didn't catch the name.
Gravity or Gold.
All right, thank you.
My name is Brenda. I feel like every week I've been saying something when we've been doing prayers. And now about my friend, this is 3-4 months in the making. He has OD'd and died a bunch of times. And I finally got him in an Uber about 2 hours ago to go to detox. So.
Hello, everyone. My name is Cody. I'm actually celebrating 6 months today.
Jeffrey, alcoholic. I celebrated 8 months on the 15th.
I'm Sarah, and about 4 hours ago, I got to hang out with my sister for the first time sober. She has 6 months of sobriety, and it was amazing, and I can't wait to see her after this again. So, 6 months.
And I think I did forget to say that if you are online, please drop your celebrations in the comments.
My name is Gino, and on Tuesday will be my 79th trip around the sun.
My name's Nathan. My granddaughter Ellie is turning 3 today, so celebrations for Max and Paige and Ellie.
Anyone else? We got time for one more.
Can I just celebrate you being back in the house?
I was only gone 1 week, but sure. All right, well, if we don't have any extras, I know Ryan usually only allows one person to come up to the stage, but since he's not here, I want my 2 friends who are celebrating anniversaries today to come and join me for our online celebrations. I can cheat a little bit when he's not here, right? I'm going to let you guys read them. Do we have any? Go ahead.
Zach, celebrating 392 days of sobriety and recovery. I also want to celebrate a dear friend that I will always love and cherish for giving recovery another try and completing treatment. God is so good.
All right, Laura says, I want to celebrate that I will have 1 year of sobriety this Thursday, as well as 1 year ago today is when I realized I wanted to start living again. Congratulations, Laura.
Sarah says, celebration time. I've moved to Washington, and I've been loving my new job at the Joint Chiropractic in Tumwater.
Amazing. Thank you both so much. I'll just leave these up here. All right, friends. As you know, we have been in the summer series. This is the last week of our summer series. So we are wrapping up of the summer grind. Next week, we will be starting the Let Them. Have you guys heard of Mel Robbins? She has a book out right now called Let Them. It's a wonderful series. We're going to go all through August, different themes about Let Them. But first, friends. You are in for a treat. So one of the great things, no offense to Ryan, but one of the great things about when he is gone is we get to have amazing guests come and join us. So this next guest, you probably might know who she is. If you don't know who she is, I guarantee you will remember her after this evening. And she will forever change your life, because trust me, wait till you hear her singing. But please do me the honor of welcoming Sarah Hornbuckle up to the stage.
Well, hello, everyone. Thank you for the introduction. She always sets me up for really high expectations, so hopefully I don't disappoint any of you. Thank you, Ryan, for going on vacation or going to a wedding, so I get to be here, and Free for having me. I appreciate you guys being here, too. And welcome to all of our online folks. So glad that you're joining us. My name is Sarah Hornbuckle, like she said. I'm the co-executive director for the Hornbuckle Foundation. I love Jesus, I love people, I love recovery, and I love that I get to be here tonight. All right, we're gonna go into this. Has anybody ever been skydiving? Not yet? Like, I'm terrified of heights, but like not to a clinical level. I think most people have a healthy fear of heights, and if you don't, you're nuts. But I enjoy skydiving. I've been a couple of times. And the last time I went skydiving, I took my husband. We had just gotten engaged. And I was a single mom of 3 kids. I'm kind of a lot. I'm type A. I'm always very extroverted. And I thought, he's about to embark on a really scary journey, marrying a single mom of 3 kids. This is quite the commitment. So what if I take him to do something terrifying, so that when situations come up in our relationship, he'll be like, that's not so bad. So I took him skydiving. Now, his pictures, he looks so cool. He looks so cool. He had these metal fingers, yeah, I'm awesome. But my picture was this one, where my skin is barely hanging on to my body. I cannot keep my mouth shut, have no idea how many bugs that I have swallowed, and I look terrified. And the guy that's with me, he's got his tongue sticking out rad, awesome. And the second that I saw this photo, I thought, this is what walking in faith feels like. Because we make these jumps and we step out in faith not knowing how things are going to work out. We don't know if we're going to be okay. We don't know. We've got a lot of fear and we got a lot of anxiety, but we take that step forward anyway. So skydiving, if you ever need a reality check or any gratitude for the life you have today, I highly recommend it. The title of this message is Faith Without Works is Dead. Love in Action. James 2:26. For as the body without the spirit is dead, so faith without works is dead also. We're going to dig into this first part. As the body without the spirit is dead. So addiction, substances, grief, trauma, these events, things that happen, they can cause a disassociation between the mind, the body, and the spirit. When I was at the end of my addiction and suffering from trauma, the only words that I could use to describe what I was feeling was spiritually broken. Like my body was separated from my spirit, kind of like that picture. My skin was about to come off of me. And all I could feel was just sadness and regret and frustration and desperation, really. I was cut off from the sunlight of the spirit, couldn't feel it. And I didn't know what to do. And I had to find someone who did know what to do so that they could help me and show me the way out of it. I had faith in that person to help me. Because reconnecting my spirit and my body and anybody that has to do this stuff, it is hard work. We have to face our deepest fears, our insecurities. We have to face humiliation and overcome shame. But this is part of the work of our faith. Now, I like to get a tattoo for my sobriety birthdays. I'm a little behind. Been in for 9 years, I only have 5 tattoos. I get it, but you know what? That hurts. It hurts. And it's a whole thing. Two of my best friends are covered from head to toe in tattoos. Like, they are walking pieces of art. And so in order to remind myself that when I am feeling weak, I got a verse tattooed on my arm. It's 2 Corinthians 12:9. And I only got half of it because it hurts. And I figured that if somebody wanted to know the rest of it, they could just ask. And I would tell them. But he said to me, my grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. I'm just suddenly realizing that I actually got a third of it instead of the whole thing. So it's not half, it's a third. Therefore, I will boast all the more gladly about my weaknesses, so that God's power may rest on me. So when my body and my spirit are at odds, I can go, you know what? God's grace is sufficient for me. His power is made perfect in my weakness, and that's why I have it on my arm, because as a human, I tend to forget these things, especially when I'm in crisis, especially during grief and trauma. Galatians 5:7. So this verse is really cool because it talks about understanding why our spirit and our bodies separate. Why is there this constant battle that we have? The sinful nature, which is our body, wants to do evil. We just do. We start when we're little kids. You don't have to teach a kid how to lie. They just do it. You know? We have to teach kindness, that kind of stuff. Sinful nature wants to do evil, which is just the opposite of what the Spirit wants. And the Spirit gives us desires that are the opposite of what the sinful nature or our body desires. These two forces are constantly fighting each other. So you are not free to carry out your good intentions. This is why I was miserable. My spirit and my body were not aligned. And to be free, our spirit and our body must be aligned and aligned with God. So how do we know when we're not aligned? It's a great question. Or what are the signs of it? Because when I got into recovery, I didn't know anything. I did not know what was happening in my mind or in my body. I had no idea. I just knew that I was not okay. So what are spiritual desires? Spiritual desires are love, usefulness to others, honesty. We want to be honest. We want to live an honest life. We want to be courageous. Kindness, resilience, optimism, humility, gratitude, persistence, forgiveness, self-regulation, purpose, and my personal favorite, freedom. But then our human nature gets in the way. Our body gets in the way. And what does that come with? A healthy dose of fear, healthy doses of anxiety, mixed in with a little depression, cruelty, judgment of others, pessimism, apathy, not really caring about much, pride, ungratefulness, laziness, and unforgiveness. And there's plenty more spiritual desires and human nature. We all have some things in common, but whatever it is that you can put in there is, what do I want to be spiritually? Now, faith without works is dead. I love plants. I love big plants. I love small plants. I like inside ones. I love outside ones. Like, they make me happy. They do. And I annoy my family because we'll be sitting at dinner. I'll be like, look how happy that plant is. And they do not care. They don't care. But I do it anyway because plants are living things and they need to be told that they're beautiful, just like women. Now, I can have all the faith in the world that my plants and my flowers are going to be healthy and beautiful and live. But if I don't put in the work, they die. All of my singing to them, yes, I sing to my plants, and all of my admiration for them, it doesn't keep my plants from dying. They need water, they need food, they need pruning. So basically, we are human houseplants, and we get out of our faith what we put into it. So growing up in church, when I was hearing this, the work was feeding the homeless and giving money to charity, and it was everything that was just like outward. But when I got into recovery about 9 years ago, I realized that works is not just an outward action. It also means that internal work, and I had a lot of work to do 9 years ago. When we experience addiction, trauma, or significant grief, it is difficult to accomplish anything. Think about the saddest and hardest day of your life. Getting off the floor seems like quite a chore being able to shower, being able to really do anything. We're kind of trapped in this situation. And we have faith. Maybe we have a little faith that we're going to get through it. But it takes work. Sometimes we need other people to help us with that work at first. So there's two different types of work. There's internal work and there's external work. The internal work, something that seems to be so simple, one of the things is eating. It's amazing in recovery how many people stop eating in addiction. They just don't eat. So part of that work is just eating, sleeping, prayer, meditation, reading the Bible, exercising, going to meetings, doing laundry, working, getting mental health support. These are all the ways that we can work out our faith. We have to work our way out of our situations. And we can have all the faith in the world that God is going to come through for us. But if we sit at home waiting for something to happen, we're just like a useless house decoration. You might even be a pretty house decoration, but you're a stagnant object all the same. And if any of you have lived with a lazy roommate, you've seen some human house decorations. You know. So then there's the external work. Once we get ourselves strong and healthy and our body and our spirit are aligned and we've gained a little bit of wisdom, we get to step into the work of helping others. But don't forget that sometimes life throws us some curveballs. Maybe there's a death in the family or a medical condition, and that'll put you back in the phase of that internal work. And there's no shame in that. But if you are in a place where you can help others, you get to live out your faith externally. Instead of it just being on the inside, it shines through you. And we get to do this through service to others, whether it's volunteering, mentoring, helping people get their kids back. That's so awesome. Monetary giving. But don't forget, one more thing, the external work. So if anyone, you're working in recovery, and anybody who works with the sick, that external work will burn you out if the internal work stops. So we have to know, is this an internal day? Is this an external day? Is the morning the internal work and the afternoon is external? And being able to find that balance. The wisest man who ever lived, his name was King Solomon, and he said, there is nothing better for a person than to enjoy their work. How do we keep enjoying it? It's by doing that internal work. So how do we enjoy it then? Well, the more internal work that you do, and whatever that is for you, the more you start to enjoy it. When I first started having to take care of myself, I hated it. I thought it was annoying, it was a drag, it was time-consuming, because it is so much easier to take care of somebody else's stuff than it is for me. I am totally fine. Your mess, I got you. I'll help you with your mess, no problem. Meanwhile, my house is on fire. It's fine. We're fine. We're not fine. But I started to learn to love it. So, and I can imagine Matt Melsen's going to get up here too, and he runs like crazy amounts of miles and like marathons and stuff. Like, I am a walker. I am a great walker. I can power walk. You should see me and these ladies out at the park. We're great. But I can imagine that he didn't just start with a 50-mile run. You know, he started just a little bit. So as I started taking care of myself, I then started to enjoy it. I started taking care of my hair or my nails or my spirit and meditating. I was like, okay, I feel good. All right, I feel good. This stuff is working. And the more that I did it, the more that I started to enjoy it. I look forward to it because of the results that I get out of it. And faith is the same way. Each of us is qualified with God-given gifts to help those around us. And it is our job to discover what those are. And there's different kinds of like free assessments online that you can help like figure out what your strengths are, what your gifts are, or you can also ask the people around you, hey, what strengths do you see inside of me? What am I good at? Because maybe you weren't raised with a parent who was telling you, wow, you're really good at this, or I like this part of you. Maybe you didn't get that. And so we get to do it now. Are you an acts of service type person? Do you like to jump in and somebody's like, hey, I need help moving, and you're like, got you. For me, I'm like, yeah, I have 2 teenage sons. They'll be right there. Did you get that? There's people who have the gift of words of affirmation. Does everybody have a hype girl in their life or a hype guy? Like, you got this, girl. I believe in you. Yeah, you're amazing. You know, we all need a hype person. Are you good at shopping? Are you good at finding sentimental gifts to show appreciation and love for somebody or to recognize someone? These are all gifts. This is all the work. It's all love in action. Maybe you have empathy. Maybe you're a big empath and you get to sit with somebody and really understand and just hold space. Or maybe your strength is more intellectual or strategic. You know, somebody has a problem to solve and your brain is already like, I know how to help you in this. When Jesus was asked what the most important commandment was, he said, love God, love others. Simple. Summed it up. This is not a complicated situation, but our human nature does get in the way of that second part. Let's put the verse up. Notice that in this verse, loving yourself is not written there. You don't see anything about loving yourself. It says love your God, love your neighbors, love your others. But self-love is important. And I think, and I could be wrong, you can message me later, I think that the reason is because when you learn about who God is, what he says about you, and how he feels about you, he fills you up with so much love that you end up loving yourself because of his love. You begin to see yourself how God sees you, and it is a beautiful gift to be able to do that. But who does God say you are? Well, that is a different message for a different day. So I encourage you to start figuring that out. Google, what does God say about me? See what happens. There are some barriers to love in action. Lots of barriers. People who drive slow in the left lane. Where did they learn that? I don't know. Human house decorations, they're barriers to love. It's hard to love somebody. Back-talking kids, can I get an amen? My God. Terrible bosses, financial insecurities, a lack of self-worth, lack of self-love, and adversity. These are all barriers to that work that we're talking about. The faith without works is dead. That work is love in action, but there's barriers to that. The biggest barrier to love in action is ourselves. Our self-worth is directly related to the work that we put in. And yet, we learn the most through adversity. Working on ourselves is hard. So I would like to give you a visual example of what I'm trying to express today. Caitlin, who is going to be joining me on piano and music, but right now I'm going to fight her. Oh. So I'm going to be my body, right? Caitlin is going to be my spirit, all right? She's going to try. So now here I am in this situation, and I'm not getting off this floor because this is really comfortable. And my spirit is like, come on. I'm like, no. I really enjoy being miserable and riddled with anxiety, and I really like cocaine, and this toxic relationship feels awesome. All true stories of my life. Okay. But if I listen to that spirit that's inside of me, who's saying, come on, it's better over here. You can get that peace. You can get that love. We can do this together. We just have to be aligned. We're speaking different languages right now. That visual lesson is us fighting ourselves instead of leaning into the uncomfortable. It's really uncomfortable to be able to step into the other side. And it's scary. It feels like skydiving, and you don't know how this is going to end. Oh, I don't know if I'm going to be okay. But then you get there and you go, oh, that wasn't so bad. It actually is better over here. But that feeling that you get in the pit of your stomach when something's not right, that's your spirit in there. And when we are aligned with God, that's God's spirit in there too. And when the work is really hard, and there's some days, y'all, I have 3 teenagers, I run a nonprofit, my husband just had knee surgery, and I have a foster dog through Positive Recovery who is highly needy and has become my shadow. I got a lot going on. Got a lot of work. And there's some days where I'm like, I don't like any of you. But I love you. Can you just give me a minute? You know? He says, wow, you know. You don't always like Layla every day, do you? Just kidding. You probably do. She's beautiful. All right. But when I am struggling with the work that I need to show up for, to participate in the life that I have built for myself, because we like going to work and it's awesome, and then things get mundane and we're like, I want to throw this away. I don't want to do this anymore. And then it just starts to spiral. I focus on Colossians 3:23. Whatever you do, work at it with all your heart, as if you're working for God and not for man, because it is God you are serving. Have you ever washed dishes in rage? Have you ever rage washed a dish? Yeah, because it's not your dish, right? It's somebody who left it in there, and now it's all hard, and like you're scrubbing this thing. This isn't even my, I can't, nope, it's not even my stuff. But when you think about that verse, like just imagine that it's God's dish that you're washing. Okay, all of these people that need something from me, or that irritate me, or that are driving slow in that left lane, it's like, okay, all right, I'm just going to pretend that none of y'all exist right now. I'm going to focus on what is my mission? What am I supposed to do? That work gets hard. That internal, that external work is hard. So this verse will help you. Remember, it's God you're serving. Maybe we're just washing God's dishes. Doing the work to heal is love in action. Offering your strength to others is love in action. Offering a listening ear, lifting heavy things. Maybe you have money and can help. Maybe you just get to hold space for someone when they need a friend. We get to enter into this beautiful rhythm of self-love and love for others. And the coolest thing about that, when you love yourself and you're loving others, you are also loving God, because we are one with God. God is in all of it. When you are so filled up with faith, love, joy, and all of the gifts that God has for us, it starts to overflow into our relationships, into our jobs. But most of all, it overflows into your body and your spirit, and you will be at peace. Maybe even just for an hour, maybe 24 hours, because people will be peopling and humans be humaning. And it's hard out here, but we also need each other. And we need each other to be the best versions of ourselves that we can be. We need to do the work. Work is just love in action. But what is love? 1 Corinthians 13, 2-8. If I have the gift of prophecy and can fathom all mysteries and all knowledge, and if I have a faith that can move mountains but do not have love, I am nothing. If I give all I possess to the poor and give over my body to hardship that I might boast, but do not have love, I gain nothing. Love is patient. Love is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. It does not dishonor others. It is not self-seeking. It is not easily angered. It keeps no records of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, and always perseveres. Love never fails. That is the love that God has for you. That is the love that you already possess inside of you. Love is the work of faith. Faith without works is dead. The work is love in action. Now, if you look at that verse and think that you don't have all of those aspects of love, you do. Our minds will tell us that we are not good enough, that we have nothing to give or offer, that we've done too much to be used by God or anyone else, and that we are failures, that we are broken. But that is a lie. The truth is that you are made in the image of God, and God is love. You are love. God has already given you everything that you need. Maybe you already have the faith, and your next step is love in action. So I challenge you tonight to commit radical acts of self-love and love for others, using the gifts that you already possess inside of you, being confident that the God of the universe is strapped to your back as you navigate this faith. When I went skydiving, they don't give me a helmet. They don't give me a parachute. They strap me to a 25-year-old hippie who loves it and has gone on 200 flights that week. And I'm supposed to expect that this man is going to get me on the ground with my feet and I'm just going to be all smiles. But when you're up in the air, these guys like to mess with you. So if you haven't been skydiving, they'll be like, just pull on this cord and you'll start going in circles. It's terrifying. But he's representative of God. I don't have all the materials. I don't have all the things that I need to do what I'm supposed to do or what I need to do. And God goes, no, I got you. I got you. Whatever you lack, I don't. Whenever you're weak, I'm not. I have you. So let's just use what we have. And remember, when you start to lie to yourself, remember what the truth of God, what his word actually says. How many times can you hear the same lie before you start to believe it? The enemy keeps whispering to me, swear these days it's all that I'm hearing. I used to know who I was, now I look in the mirror and I'm not so sure. Lord, I don't want to listen to the lies anymore. The truth is I am my Father's child. I make him proud and I make him smile. I was made in the image of a perfect king. He looks at me, I wouldn't change a thing. The truth is I am truly loved by a God who's good when I'm not good enough. I don't belong to the lies, I belong to you. And that's the truth. When I feel like there's so much noise living rent-free in my head, heaven finds me in a still small voice and it sounds like grace instead. You remind me who I am when I look in the mirror and I'm not so sure. Lord, I don't want to listen to the lies anymore. The truth is I am my Father's child. I make him proud and I make him smile. I was made in the image of a perfect king. He looks at me, I wouldn't change a thing. The truth is I am truly loved by a God who's good when I'm not good enough. I don't belong to the lies, I belong to you. And that's the truth. I know who I am, 'cause I know who you are. And I hold these truths inside my heart. I know the lies are always gonna try and find me, but I've never been so sure. The truth is that you are your Father's child. You make him proud and you make him smile. You were made in the image of a perfect king. He looks at you and wouldn't change a thing. The truth is that you are truly loved by a God who's good when you're not good enough. We don't belong to the lies, we belong to you. And that's the truth. Yeah, that's the truth. Don't forget it. Thank you, Caitlin. Awesome job. Thank you so much. She did it again. You are very pretty when you cry. Like, I do not look like this when I cry, just so you know. Like,
Like, so for the record, I literally heard that song at the 5 p.m. service, and I knew what was happening, and I got it. I'm like, okay, don't cry, don't cry, don't cry. And like, I think I'm crying more this time.
You are crying more. And we were, even out in the foyer, we were talking about how she should disassociate from this moment. It didn't work.
Really tried.
But I think that's really good that you don't disassociate. That's healthy.
Emotions are so hard.
It's a thing.
And then like to come on stage with lights and internet. And
Yeah. That's a whole thing. I know. I'm here. Ryan, we miss you. God. Women are falling apart.
And Caitlin, thank you so, so much. I mean, that was absolutely beautiful, right? So can you guys please, just please help me and like thank her one more time? Because like, right? And I really think I also needed that so I could have one more breath where I would stop crying.
Right.
Okay, so now that I'm not going to cry. Okay.
Don't make her cry again, dude.
Stop playing. I know, I can't watch the repeat. Okay. Hi, sorry. Hi. So every Saturday, you should know that we always have a guest storyteller who comes up to the living room and shares their experience, strength, and hope with us. When Sarah agreed to come and help us, I asked her, I'm like, do you have anybody that you would recommend that would be a suited person with this story? And so when she said, she sent me this guy, she's like, oh, here's his name, and you can kind of cyber stalk him. And I was like, okay, cool. Like, and I'm not really good at like the techie world. And so, but I was like, all right. And I reached out to him, and this guy's story, I just met him, 2 weeks ago or something, but when we sat together, and you know those like humans that like you may not like ever met them, but you spend that like 5 minutes with them and you're like, oh, you get it. Yeah. Like, I see you, right? Like this guy's story, I cannot wait for you guys to meet him. His name is Matt. He also works for the Hornbuckle Foundation. So basically, again, thank you for not only your service, but for bringing us Matt. Can you guys please do me a favor and help welcome Matt up to the living room? Much better now. I needed that moment. So thank you for bearing with me on this moment. But hi, Matt. Hi. I would love for them to get to know you a little bit. And I know that I say often that people's addiction is like the least interesting thing about them. And I want to say that I find that so true when it comes to your story, too. I do think it's important to qualify a little bit and talk about what you were like before so we can really appreciate where you are today. Can you kind of paint us a little bit of a picture of what did it look like back before you had found recovery?
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, yes, it is. I'm so grateful to be here, and thank you for having me. And Sarah, that was amazing. And I'm so grateful to be going up after you sang that song because, sharing your story is kind of like a vulnerable thing, but it's like, God sees me and he likes me just how I am. So that's really cool. But like you said, the addiction is kind of the least important part about my story. So I'm going to try to just sum this up really quickly. Like, got into drugs young, went to a group home, got in a bunch of trouble, was a musician, which kind of fueled the fire, being in the nightlife and partying and all the things. And as I progressed in my addiction, I lost all of my music. And I was a poet, I am a poet, and I lost all my recordings, like hundreds of hours of recordings, 15 years of rhymes. And that was like devastating for me. And it kind of was the tipping point where I ended up dabbling into heroin, and I got strung out, and 7 years went by, which, is really sad, but it's crazy because that's how fast time goes when you get addicted to drugs. It's just like, and I don't even really know what I did during that time. But towards the end of it all, I ended up kind of in a psychosis, and it was like very biblical. I'm hearing these voices, and it's like this very spiritual thing. You're the Messiah, you're the Antichrist. And it ended up being that struggle that really brought me to my knees and had me reaching out for God. And I had this, I'll kind of give the condensed version of this story, went into a meditation. I'm oming and I'm praying and I'm asking God, like, why is this happening to me? And long story short, like God confronted me on the back porch, Optimus Prime, Sean Connery talking to me from the clouds, and he was just like, "You're loved. I want you to come back to the light." And that was kind of the beginning of the story for me and getting into recovery. And it didn't start right then. It still took me some time. But I'm one of the people that was fortunate enough to have the legal system get involved and, make me do the things that I really couldn't do myself. And I was able to get some support and vouchers for sober living. And I had to go to the halfway house for a little while. And once I had finally gotten there, that's whenever I was able to really see what was going on. Like, you get sober for a little bit, and it took me probably 6 months to come out of the clouds and out of the psychosis and everything. But I had this experience where it just came down to this. Like, I'm a fallible child of God, and God used this psychosis and these voices, this spiritual oppression that I was going through to bring me to my knees so that I could recognize that. Because I was just so stuck in the self-centeredness, the self-seeking, the addiction. That's what it is, and it's...
I want to back up because I think what you said, you just kind of breezed right through it. But when you had said that you were a fallible child of God, right? And like, I don't know about anyone else out there, but like when you hear those words, like sometimes we hold ourselves to this like high expectation of like, I'm this terrible person, and kind of like what Sarah was talking about of like, I'm so broken and I've done this terrible mess. But when you finally accepted that I am a fallible child of God, and that is okay, how did holding on to that specific, what did that actually look like to finally start believing something like that?
Well, I had been back and forth. Like I had said, it was like very biblical for me. Like, you're the Antichrist or you're the Messiah. And I had like no connection to reality of what was really going on because I was just so caught up in my own little selfish world. So that ended up being, so it was actually like a plaque that was on my mom's fridge, a little fridge magnet, and it said, "You are a loving, fallible child of God." And that ended up being like one of the things that I used through that first year of recovery to bring me back anytime I would like start falling into worry, remorse, the four horsemen. And it was just, I still say that to myself today because it can be so grounding just to recognize like, I'm not perfect. Even when I show up and do my best, sometimes it doesn't work out, but I'm loved and I'm a fallible child of God, and like He created me and I'm created in His image. Like that is so powerful and so grounding for me.
And I know today, like, so you did achieve sobriety, and then I know that you work with a lot of individuals. How do you help them today to start accepting and truly believing that they too are lovable, fallible children of God, right? Because I think there's so many people out there who struggle with that internal worth.
I'm so glad that you asked. So this is like what we do. So you don't know what it's really going to take to reach somebody, right? And when I got sober back in 2018 for the first time, there weren't people like me, like the coaches that we have on the Hornbuckle Foundation and so many of the other recovery organizations who are like out on the street, like meeting with people at day centers and things like that, showing up for them when they're not able to show up for themselves. Like when I was trying to get help, I called JCMH and I was like, I need help. They're like, get sober for 30 days. I was like, yeah, right. Like I need help getting there. I didn't know how to get there. So what we do is we just continue to show up week after week, day after day for people, and we show them that they can be loved even in that condition. And so we really try to embody the way that God loves us for the people that we work with. And really all I do, I'm like, I ask good questions, because so many of us, when we're struggling with our addiction, we're struggling with being unhoused, we're just believing lies. Like the song we were just listening to, like the lies come and sometimes we can fall into them. But if we can just take the time to like, what are the facts about the situation?
But so how do you do that though, right? So when you have this world out there who is specifically targeting you, and whether it's a loved one or whether it's, society at large with the unhoused population, right? Or whether it's that internal self-dialogue that we tell ourselves that like, again, I'm too far gone. How do you start that first little baby step of is it just the consistency of showing up each week? But how do you start helping them change that internal narrative?
Sure. Well, the first thing is that like, I wouldn't probably trust me if I just like walk. The first time you walk up to somebody is like, yeah, who are you? Like, why would I trust you? You know what I mean? But what we do is we're like, do you want a hug? Like, what do you need? Do you need some food? Do you need some snacks? Oh, I can help you out with a bus pass. Like, is that a barrier for you? Can you see? We do eyeglasses. And so we're able to offer all of these things to people that help us build trust with them. And so, you know, it might take 6 months of showing up every week and talking to this person and just checking in like, hey man, you're loved. Hey man, you're appreciated. What's going on with you this week? And then finally they're like, maybe there is like some sort of hope out there for me. Maybe I can find a new way of life. And so we just continue to ask the questions like, well, what would it be like if you were inside? What would it be like if you did have a job? What would it be like if you were able to be of service to other people out here? And that's where people really start thinking is they're like, like, because has anybody in here been homeless or been on the streets? Okay, so a big part of it is it's all community. You know, we're out there and we're like, yeah, we're in our addiction and we're doing all this selfish stuff, but like we're looking out for him and I'm looking out for her and making sure everybody's taken care of. And so we're all looking for that place where we can fit in, and it comes down to service. It really does. And so when somebody's able to look at it and say, oh, like I could show up for somebody else, that's, I think, when a lot of people, it clicks, like, oh, I can, like, there's some other place for me in life where I can fit in. So, yeah.
And I feel like that's kind of what Sarah was talking about too, right? Like where it's so much easier to start on the external part, right? Like it's easy for me to help you, and sometimes than it is for even me to see that like it's okay for me to need or want help. So is it something, right? Like is it something that just eventually sinks in that I deserve it too? Like how does that shift happen in them where they, right, for themselves? Because again, they're doing it for the community, but how do they start making that change of I deserve this as well?
So I can really only attribute that to God, because there's something mystical that happens whenever you're acting in service to somebody and you don't really have any benefit from, you know, helping them, and they can see that. It's like, you've got nothing to gain from me getting my life back together, except, you know, the tears that come whenever it all comes together at the end, right? Because it's just such a beautiful thing to see somebody get it. I don't really know. It's mystic. Like, I really do think that that's something of a spiritual nature that happens, and it's like a result of the love. It's a result of the work, of the faith, of continuing. It's like, I don't know if this person's ever gonna get it. Like, they might overdose tomorrow. You know what I mean? But we're going to keep showing up anyway. We're going to keep giving them love anyway. We're going to continue to be in their corner anyway, because that's what God is. That's how our faith is evidenced by our works.
That's just so amazing. And I know, so many questions I want to ask you, but I think I first want to say back to the Hornbuckle Foundation, right? Because this is what you guys do on a daily basis. You guys are out there in the streets. And I do want to know a little bit for anyone out there who does not know the difference between a recovery coach and a sponsor, and then just kind of the difference between going into 12-step recovery versus, you know, working with an organization and helping them. I do want you to talk about both, if you could explain the difference and maybe for those who don't know, but I also really, really, really want to lift up what you guys are doing, and I want to promote your flyer. But first, I just want to hear if you could kind of give us a brief rundown, the difference between a recovery coach and do you still work with faith when it comes to them? Like I know in 12-step recovery you do, but can you kind of tell us a little bit about what's different about recovery coach training or recovery coach?
Yeah, absolutely. So the best way I can describe a recovery coach is we're kind of like the in-between of a therapist who meets with you in an office, you know, in a closed room, not in the community, and a sponsor who is going to work with you on the 12 steps and take you through that process, which is like they're a friend, right? A closed-mouth friend. We're also a closed-mouth friend. We're your ally, your confidant, your cheerleader, your motivator, but we're also a resource broker. So the majority of what we're doing is helping people connect the dots, right? Like, I want to get sober. Maybe I don't want to get sober, but I need to get this, that, or the other thing. And so we're going to help them discover the resources, make the connections to the places that they need to, and then just continue to be in their corner along the way. So we don't specifically do 12-step work, right? Like I'm not sitting down and doing a 4th and 5th step with anybody. But we do get into some serious stuff, and we do help people with the motivational interviewing, like find out what's making them tick. Like what are they not able to see? If you guys are familiar with Johari's window, the idea of like, there's what you know, what you don't know, and what you don't know, you don't know. We try to help people get into the what you don't know, because we can a lot of times we can't see it ourselves, right? I need somebody else to help me with that, like Sarah, for instance. So that's what we do. We ask questions to try to help them be more aware and then connect them to the resources that they need and walk with them through the fire in the midst of it.
And I want to say, like anyone out there who is looking to support an organization, I mean, the Hornbuckle Foundation, guys, it's absolutely stunning, and what they do, and they're literally out there on the streets and helping people on a daily basis. Tell us about what you got going on. Let us help. Guys, get your cameras out. You want to take a picture of this. You want to, I'll let him do all the spiel, but you want to take a picture, and Sarah was talking about walk-in, right? So here's here's your chance. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I'm going to give a little backstory of like how this happened. There's a line in the book, big book, that you can't transmit what you haven't got, right? Spiritual life is a theory. You've got to live it. And so when I was hearing that in early recovery and like I started dabbling with the idea of like getting into coaching and like working and being of service, I was like, what do I really have to give anybody? And so I went down this whole path, and I was like doing 75 hard and reading the David Goggins, and obviously like being in my Bible and like learning about different spiritual pathways. Like I need to get something to transmit something. I was chasing. And part of what I landed in was running. Running has become like a meditative practice for me. I run 5 or 6 times a week, and I end up loving it. Like it can be sufferable and it sucks sometimes, but the end result is I feel really good, and I've accomplished something when I do it. So at any rate, we're doing this fundraiser. It's called Recovery Month, Miles That Matter, and this is for September, which is Recovery Month. You guys know the Recovery Rally. There's a lot of different events that are going to be happening through September. And we want to extend the invitation to you to get involved with this. So I had seen a fundraiser from another organization where they were doing something like this, and I was like, Sarah, let's do this. And she's like, all right, Matt, this is different for us. I don't know. She's like, I'll walk.
You can walk.
You can run. So we want to invite you to come and sign up for this fundraiser. You can pledge to do X amount of miles walking or running. At the end of every day that you walk or run, you just log your miles. I'm using this as an opportunity to really challenge myself, and I'm going to do 250 miles in the month of September. If you don't want to walk or you don't want to run and you want to support this fundraiser, you could just pledge towards my miles if you want, and 50 cents or $1 a mile or 25 cents, whatever you want to do, whatever's comfortable, whatever you feel called to do. But this is going to be really fun, and it's going to be a way that people who maybe don't have the connection to like working in recovery or like being of service in a different fellowship, to where you could get involved and be of service in this way. So we're going to use the funds that we raise on this fundraiser to do things like backpacks, harm reduction kits. Like I said, we do eyeglasses. We do monthly bus passes for people. And then we also have a budget to do like basic needs, hygiene, take somebody shopping, like maybe you need shoes, boots for work, or non-stick shoes, to be able to work in a kitchen, things like that. So the funding that we raise is really going to be used to help people on their recovery journey and getting back on their feet. So,
thank you so much for that. And I would encourage you guys, I know Ryan talks about it often, of like, even if you don't give here, go give somewhere, go be of service, support, whether it's, you yourself can run, or you can support someone who's running. And if you need to find him, you're at the Hornbuckle Foundation, and I know that you can find both Sarah and Matt on there. And then I did want to close with one final question. If there's maybe someone out there who it just seems so far away, they may be still in the dark, and they can't get more than one day, and they're back at that one, and they see this and they're like, well, how did you do that? And I want that. And I know sometimes it's hard to believe people when you see them up here and you're like, wow, it sounds like you have it all together. But to somebody who is out there who may not believe that they too can even make that first little step tonight, what would you say to them that even right now, they don't have to wait until tomorrow morning, they can start right here, right now, the second they hear this message? What would you say to them?
Yeah, I love this question. In the groups that I run, like this is one of the things that I love to talk about. So the whole 12-step community was built off of the foundation that service is like part of the pathway to God, right? And we can always be of service. So whenever we have something going on within us, we have not only an opportunity to help ourselves by getting it out, but to somebody else in recovery, if we hold on to it, we're not giving them the opportunity to be of service to us. So if you're looking for an easy way to be of service to somebody, talk to some, pick up the phone, call and ask for help, because that allows us to be of service to you. Like, that's how I fulfill my spiritual, that's how I show my faith is through my works, right? So I'm so grateful when somebody calls me and they're like, man, I'm having a day. I'm going through this. Like, I need help. Or can you come get me? Like, let's go to detox. Like, whatever that looks like, that's an honor. And it is for other people in recovery too. So I think an easy way to be of service is just to reach out for help.
Thank you so much. Guys, can you please give Matt a round of applause? Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, friends, the way we close up on a Saturday night is the same way. I only have one microphone, though. On the couch. Nope, that's okay. Oh, this couch. Just kidding. All right. And the way we close off every single Saturday is similar to how we start, and it's with heartaches. And this is so we no longer have to hold these burdens by ourselves. You don't have to be ashamed to ask for help. You don't have to be ashamed to ask for prayers. This is a time we take 3 minutes, just like we did in the beginning. So if you need a little bit of extra love, support, if you need a little bit of lifting up, this 3 minutes, if you're online, please drop your heartaches into the comments. This 3 minutes is for you. On this side, we have Cody and Layla again on this side, and just raise your hands, and these 3 minutes are for you guys. This is a really good problem to have. Is nobody raising their hand? I can't see anybody.
All right, I just want to ask for some prayers for my son, MJ. MJ's getting ready to go into kindergarten, and he's getting in a lot of trouble. He's acting out, and I'm trying to show up the best way that I can for him. And we have some miscommunications between his mother and I, and so we're just trying to figure out how to be the best parents we can for him. But if you guys could pray for my son, MJ, I would really appreciate that.
Yeah, I just ask for prayers for my friend Nate. I've known him since I got sober almost 10 years ago, and he's a great guy sober. He's holed up in a motel room drinking again, and he was concerned about him. I want him to be able to find a why he's sober again. And if you pray for Nate, I appreciate it.
My name is Layla. I just want to pray for my friend Derek. His wife was in a terrible accident a few years ago, and so that happening to her put him in a really dark place in an addiction. But I'm trying to plant the seed, and so I talked to him this morning. If we could just lift him up from his addiction, and he's really starting to want to come here, so hopefully I get him here to just lift him up.
Hey, my name's Kurt, or Curtis, actually. I just lost my wife in May after Memorial Day, and we've got a 4-year-old. And today is the 10-year anniversary when we met at the front row at Red Rocks. And me and my son could use some prayers as well as for her. I don't know where she's at. Her name was Katie. Katie Bud.
Praise for all of you. Glad you're here.
Hello, my name is Rodney. I have 2 friends that I've been trying to get into treatment. They've both been accepted treatment. They both ran from treatment. One's 6 months pregnant, and I found Mothers and Me that was catered to her, and she's called them 3 times and missed all 3 appointments. So she wants it, but she just can't follow through. I don't know what to do. The baby has no say-so in it. The other friend just got out of jail. She overdosed. They brought her back. She overdosed again. I witnessed this overdose, and it's the worst I've ever seen. She's not going to make it long. And the next day she had her bed space and ran. So if that gets prayer for Brittany and Jessica Cruz. I don't know what to say. Thank you.
Prayers for all of you. That's a lot for you to hold as well. Friends, you want to join me up here again? This is the great thing that we do get to do this all together. Do you want to go first this time?
Whitney, please pray for our friend Mario and his family. He lost his sister to OD 3 days ago. Prayers, Whitney.
Sarah, heartache. Lost my fiance to his multiple mental health crisis. Prayers for the folks who are struggling with addiction, grief over death, and homelessness.
Love you, Sarah. Glad you're here.
Monica K. Hi, everyone. My sister just had another scan on Friday, asking for prayers that her scan results are good again. Thank you all. Prayers, Monica.
Prayers, Monica. Will you guys do me a favor and stay up here with me? So we close every night. Actually, 1 second. No, sorry, we're not going to close just yet. So sorry, but still stay up here if you don't mind. Thank you, everyone, for being here tonight. Thank you for supporting our mission. Thank you for being a part of this community. If you've been impacted by what we do here of breaking the silence of addiction, you should know that we rely on your generous givings. There are 3 easy ways to donate and get connected. One, you can go to the app and just download Free Recovery Community on there. It's just as simple. You hit down our app, you said donate, and then you can set it up for once or reoccurring. Same as our website on freerecoverycommunity.com. Same thing, drop down, donate, click one button. And then also if you're a check or cash giving type, both outside of these doors, you'll find the little buckets. I don't know what they're called. Little stands. Well, the kiosk is the other fun one. So out this door, if you guys are more of a credit card, little one tap, that's the kind kiosk. Yes, that is just outside of this door, and it's just a one tap. You can kind of give and go. But we do rely on your generous donations. This is how we keep the lights on. This is how we do what we do every single week. And it does take community. And again, I want to celebrate both of you on your huge milestones. I love seeing you guys. And one thing that I know when I sat down with Matt is he was talking about how much the 7-step prayer meant to him in his recovery. It's something that I love in my own recovery. This is a prayer that I learned in 12-step recovery. If you guys do not know it, don't worry. It's going to be up on the screen. But if you would, please just take a deep breath with me. Just be where we are. We're so grateful to be in this moment together, and we can just open up our hands as a sign of openness and willingness. And I ask that we go out with the 7-step prayer. It starts as my Creator.
My Creator, I am now willing that you should have all of me, good and bad. I pray that you now remove from every single defect of character which stands in my way of usefulness to you and my fellows. Grant me the strength as I go from here to do your bidding. Amen.
Thank you, friends. I hope to see you next week. Be safe and reach out to friends today. We do not have to be alone. Thanks, guys.